Who is raising your child? Are you aware of what they watch on TV, listen to on the radio, what they are doing when they go outside? Do you even know where your child is right now? For too many children, their parents are shirking their responsibility. So says a local teacher who has written a new book called I Want to Teach, Not Raise Your Kids. We'll talk with her today on Time. Good morning, I'm Kai Jackson and welcome to On Time. A generation ago, teaching was pretty much a respected profession, and the teacher was held in high esteem. Many of us can look back fondly over our school years and recall great teachers who were motivational and influential in our career decisions, whether it was high school, middle school, elementary school, even college. Well, the challenges teachers face today are quite different than those of yesteryear. Local teacher Lisa Calicchia joins us this morning to talk about her new book, I Want to Teach, Not Raise Your Kids. Welcome to On Time. How are you?
Fine, and yourself. Thank you, Kai.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
We want to welcome you to On Time. You're a special person here at WJZ because you used to work here years ago, didn't you?
Yes, I used to work here. I worked here while I was actually going to school, while I was attending Coppin to become a teacher. This is where I worked at. I worked at the front lobby, as you all know, of course. But when people called in, I was the one to say, hello, thank you for calling WJZ TV. How may I help you?
And that was an important job because it was first impressions that people get when they call up and talk to the operator or guard, the role you had. But you were always working to do something else. You finished your undergrad degree, you got your master's degree, and you started teaching, is that right?
Yes. Right after I graduated, I went straight into the teaching field. I've been teaching for the last 10 years. I've been teaching in the public school system, and I absolutely love the teaching portion of it, and that's what I've been doing.
And what, I know you're reluctant to say the school right now, but tell us the county or city or area you're teaching in.
Well, I am a city teacher, and just out of respect for my children attend my school and for my staff, hello to all my students and staff, I love everyone, just for security and safety reasons. And the book is not really necessarily about Baltimore City Schools or my particular school, because the story in the book tells of any teacher in any city, in any school across the entire nation.
So it's not a pointing fingers book.
Right.
What is your assessment after teaching for a decade of what's going on in our schools wherever they are, Lisa?
My overall assessment is that the children are getting worse every year as far as their morals or respect or lack of respect for teachers and just the staffs that are in the school. We have a lot of problems with disrespect, with students not really wanting to listen to authority. And we just have a lack of parental involvement in the schools, and that's why I wrote the book, because I was so frustrated with how our children come to school already unprepared. So, like, some high schools may blame the middle schools, and middle schools may blame the elementary school. And I'm not necessarily trying to blame parents, but there is a huge gap with the lack of parental involvement that we have in our communities.
There are a number of people who feel like you're talking about kids coming to class unprepared. There are a number of people who feel like teachers are just required to do too much, that by the time you sort out social problems, break up disagreements, parent somewhat to some degree, that there's very little time left for teaching.
Right, there's a lot. When people read the book, and it's not necessarily just for parents, like anyone who wants to get an understanding as to what we do as teachers, as people working in the cafeteria, administrators, you can really get a realistic idea, because I tell the truth in the book, and you can get an understanding of how the school day goes from beginning to the end, how the entire school year is from the beginning to the end. So you're finding out time is taken away when the students have lunch. That's time taken away from their teacher. When they come in late, that's time taken away from their teacher, from their instruction that they need. So every little thing takes time away from their whole purpose of coming to school.
Interesting. Let's talk about the state of kids. For instance, in this area we have, and Maryland is a fairly diverse state, African American, Caucasian, Latino, Asian. Where do you see the different ethnic groups in terms of their learning and their achievement?
Well, I think we all know that it's a known fact that our minority students do significantly lower than their Caucasian peers. And for example, when a low-income family, African-American family or minority family, when a child is, say, 4 years old, when they come to school, they have an average of 500 vocabulary words. Well, when you compare that to I don't want to say wealthy, but an affluent family or a family that has professionals in it.
Whatever the ethnicity is.
Right, regardless of their ethnicity, sorry. When they come to school, a 4-year-old has 1,100 vocabulary words. So there's a significant difference. And for example, like what I say in the book.
That makes a difference, doesn't
right,
it?
it does make a difference. On the first day of school, if I give a kindergartner, well, I need you to color the truck blue. Well, if they don't know what a truck is and they don't know what the color blue is, I have to backtrack and teach colors. I have to teach transportation vocabulary. There's a whole variety of things that I have to go and teach that they should have learned at home.
Give us a snapshot of the day in the life of a teacher.
Wow. You get up early in the morning, and then if you're a parent, I'm a parent as well. So
How many children do you have?
I have 3 girls, 3 beautiful girls that I just absolutely adore. They keep me on my toes. So I get them situated, get them off to school and daycare, and then we have to go to work. We prepare for that day. Prior to that. So for example, we have to do our lesson plans way before that day even comes. So we come in ready and just welcoming the students and trying to get into the instruction of the day. Cafeteria, taking them to the cafeteria, bathroom breaks, recess. But there's so much in a teacher day that it all can't be explained. But in the book, I was able to do that. I sat every day and wrote for about 2 or 3 hours after work every single day.
I was going to ask you, with teaching, with doing lesson plans that you have to present, don't you, to your principal, with parenting, how did you find time to write a book, plus finish graduate school?
Like I said, when I wrote the book, I was very frustrated. There are days in the book where I cried because I was so overwhelmed with wanting to teach the children. Like, I want them to have that aha moment about anything that's given to them. Right. Because the whole purpose of school is to give them things that they never knew. But to write a book, I wrote it. I was, some days I was happy. Some days I was angry, frustrated. So the book was really driven by the emotion that I was feeling from day to day.
This truly was a labor of love.
Yes, it was.
Do you still like or even love teaching?
I absolutely love teaching. I don't like all of the other things that come with it. I'm not too happy about it, and that's why I'm trying to bring the parents in, the guardians into the classroom, because I can do so much more when I have more parents. And I have great parent participation in my classroom. We have great parents, we have great schools, we have great cities, across the nation.
Let me ask you about this, because I think this is important. I'm sure a lot of parents out there and just observers of the school system want to know this too. What about teachers? What about the requirements for teachers? A lot of teachers these days are very resistant to any kind of testing system for them to determine where their skill sets are at a particular time, to determine whether they're still making progress as teachers over the years. There are a number of people, in other words, who feel that teachers aren't as accountable for their profession as they should be. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm not taking sides because I'm a teacher, but I've seen a lot of my friends, my colleagues, my co-workers who have taken tests 11 times. The test costs money. For example, just one portion of a test, it may be $140 depending on what state you take it in, and we have to pay for that. And some systems reimburse it, but I do see teachers struggle every day. I do see teachers going to the bookstores to get the test that they need.
Is there any
the
mandatory professional development after you've been in for, let's say, a decade like yourself?
Yes, we have mandatory professional development. Some of it is monthly, but I see teachers struggling every day trying to do the requirements. But on the flip side of it, where are the requirements for the parents? There's no parental accountability. There's no testing for parents. There's no licensing for parents. There's no certification for parents. So that's the other side of it. We're accountable, but where are the parents accountable?
Well, you're a parent, so you can certainly speak from both sides of the coin. We can't accuse you of just being a teacher and not having kids and not understanding. Pronounce your last name again.
Calicchia.
Calicchia. See, I was close.
That's okay.
Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you,
we appreciate it. Bless you. We know it's not an easy job, but we appreciate your commitment and the labor of love that you put into this book. I want to teach, not raise your kids.
That's right.
To the point.
Yes, it is.
Okay, which Lisa has always been. By the way, to purchase a copy of Lisa's book, I Want to Teach, Not Raise Your Kids, call 795-4274, extension 7876, or go to xlibris.com. You can also reach her through her website, lisacalichia.com, or email her at ms.calicchia@yahoo.com.